Good day to you. Today we are going to do an oil change on a 2016 Ford Fusion. This is a 2.0 liter V4, and I've already got it up on ramps. I've got the wheels chalked for safety, and I put the parking brake on, which you need to pull that button up right there. And this is going to take 5.7 quarts of oil, and what we want to put in here is we want to put in 5W30, and you can see right here it says 5W30. So first thing I do is I'm going to pull the dipstick out, and I'm also going to take the cap off, and this is going to make our oil flow come out quicker as we release it. I get down here on my creeper from Harbor Freight, and I crawl under here, and then I'm like, oh, surprise, I've got this cover that has 10 millimeter bolts on here that I need to take off in order to get this cover off so that I can do the oil change. Now, you would think that they have some holes here where you could just go ahead and do your oil change without having to remove this, but no such luck. So go ahead and grab a 10 millimeter socket and just go ahead and start taking these off. I started by just hand doing it because they weren't very tight. Then a couple of them were tight, so I had to use my socket wrench. This got old pretty quick, so I used a cordless ratchet tool to remove the rest of them. Anyway, once I got that done, then I moved on to the drain plug. This is a 15 millimeter. So you need a 15 millimeter socket, and you need a short one because this exhaust pipe's right in the way. Anyway, get that loose, and the oil filter just right in front of the oil pan, pretty easy to get to. Now go ahead and get everything positioned in place before you pull that nut off. So got my catch pan, and I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Before I do this, I usually like to use a paper towel to keep my hand, even though I got a glove on, keep my hand from being a total mess. So grab my paper towel. I'm going to put that on there and just loosen that up just to make things nice and cleaner, I guess. It's going to be a mess anyway, but it doesn't have to be too terrible. So go ahead and do that. Everything comes out, didn't spill all over the garage floor, so that's a big success. Now I'm going to move on to the filter, and I can't get it off by hand, so I have a wrench, so I'm going to go ahead and take this. It's kind of a pain to get to. You can't get it from the side, so you kind of have to go straight on a little bit, and then I can get it loose. It takes a little bit of time, but finally get a good grip on there eventually, and then there we go. All right, so then I get it loose, and then I can just use my hand to loosen it up. So I've got it loose here. Now this is going to pour out a bunch of oil, and so I'm just going to go ahead and loosen it up a little bit, let that start dripping out, get a good steady stream before I take it off completely. And there are other tricks that people use to get those off. But anyway, I've let the oil drain. It's pretty much just dripping. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and tighten that back on here. Again, 15 millimeter. And once we put a socket to this, we're not going to do it overly tight. I'm sure there's torque specs for this. I don't know what they are. But I just get it on there snug. So it's on there snug. Give it okay, I don't want to over tighten it, but it's not going anywhere. So we're good there. Now let's go ahead and move our attention back over to the filter. So it's pretty much done draining. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this off of here. I want to make sure I'm pulling it straight down so that it doesn't go everywhere. And there we go. I'm going to pull it straight down. Then I'm going to go ahead and put it into my catch pan and let the rest drip out there so it doesn't get on my garage floor. In the meantime, I'm going to take the new filter, and this filter I have is a Fram. I got the Extra Guard 36 14. I just got that at Walmart. And I just double check, make sure it's the same size, because this old one was a CarQuest filter that was put on there. I'm just going to take some of the old oil, put it on my finger there, and then just rub that on the outside of that gasket, or on top of the gasket. That way we make sure we have a good seal. And sometimes I put oil in there in the filter ahead of time, but I didn't this time. But don't force this on here. You want that to, see how that spun freely? I can just spin it back and forth. That's what you want. So just keep going until it catches, but don't force it, because that's bad. And then you're going to just hand tighten that. Tight as hard as you can with your hand. Don't use tools, so you can get off easier next time. All right, we're going to use 5W30 here, and I'm using the high mileage. Again, it's 5.7 quarts is what the manual calls for a 2.0 liter EcoBoost. And if you don't have one of these jugs, or whatever you want to call it here, get one. So this is pretty cool. This will measure quarts, and this one also does liters. But so you just pour this in here and measure it out ahead of time, so you don't have to keep checking all the time. So again, 5.7. So I'm going to pour this whole thing in there, and then I've got a little extra that I'm going to put in there. But I want to put this all the way up to 5.7 quarts. And then once I do that, which, this is going to keep going. Let's just speed this along. And then I filled that up. Now I'm going to come over and I just put this in here and pour. No funnel needed. I don't have to keep measuring. I just put the 5.7 in there and I check it. And I did check it after I put this in here, and sure enough, it was right between the two lines, like where it should be. So I would recommend getting one of these. I got it on Amazon. Maybe I'll put a link, if I can find it, put a link in the description here. So now we're done, almost. We've got to reset that engine light, though, the engine oil light. So go ahead and put your car in the on position, but don't start it. And then you're going to use the display here. You're going to go all the way down to settings and then hit OK. Then you're going to go to vehicle and you're going to hit OK. And then you're going to see oil life reset. And then you're going to hit OK on that. And then you're going to hold the OK button down to reset it. And it resets. And you're now at 100%. And now you're done with the oil change. Pretty easy, huh? So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe. God bless you.